Hey y'all, welcome back to Nini's Texas Kitchen. Today, because it's Mardi Gras season, we're gonna make homemade king cake. So for this recipe, there's 3 separate parts of ingredients that you're gonna need. You're gonna need for your dough, 8 ounces of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of butter, a half a teaspoon of salt, 6½ tablespoons of sugar, like just granulated sugar. You need 1 packet of yeast, 1/4 cup of warm water, 1 large slightly beaten egg, and 3 2/3 cups of all-purpose or bread flour. So the filling, you'll need an 8-ounce container of cream cheese, 1/4 cup of white sugar, 2 tablespoons of packed brown sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of vanilla, 1 egg, and ½ cup of chopped pecans if you want them. I'm not putting pecans in, it's optional. And then for your glaze, you need 1½ to 2 cups of powdered sugar, 1½ tablespoons of melted butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1½ to 2 tablespoons of milk. You'll glaze and pour it over the top, and then you sprinkle it with your purple, green, and gold glitter sugar. And I'll show you how to do that when we get to that stage. So the first thing that you have to do is get your sour cream and put it in a saucepan, like so. And then we're going to put our butter in it as well, if I can get it open. Put our butter in, put our sugar in, and our ½ teaspoon of salt. So that was the 6 tablespoons of sugar, because the 6½ you divide it. So that was 6 tablespoons of sugar and a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now I'm gonna just heat this for a few minutes until the butter melts. Stirring it all together like so. On a medium-low heat. And it won't take too long because my butter's been sitting out getting soft for a while. So we just heat it till our butter is completely melted. And then we're gonna let it sit here and cool for a couple of minutes until it gets back down to about 100 degrees. And I have my little handy dandy thermometer here to measure it. Because we just don't want it to be too hot when we put it in with our flour and yeast to make the dough, because too high a heat will kill the yeast. So we're just melting the butter, but we don't want to kill our yeast, so we have to let it cool back down once we melt the butter. And it's almost completely melted now. Good. All right, that'll suffice. So now I see what my before temperature is. So it's only at about 112 right now, so it's probably 115. It'll take a few minutes for it to cool back down, but not long. So the next step is going to be to take the flour part. So this is your 3 2/3 cup of flour. You want to put it into your bowl, your mixing bowl. I'm using my stand mixer with the dough hook. You can do it by hand, or you can use a bread maker on the dough setting if you want, but it's just easier to do it by hand to get it right. So I've got that in there. Now I'm going to get my yeast ready. Bring my egg over. So I'm going to get my water warm. And by warm, you want it to be like 80 to 85 or so degrees. Just lukewarm water. And that's to activate your yeast with the sugar in there. Just to make it get bubbly and all that. So my water's almost there. There it is. Nice and warm. And you just want 1/4 cup. Just make sure your water's not too hot, just slightly warm. And then I have a little cup here that I'm going to do my water, sugar, yeast mixture in. I'll pour my sugar in, my 1/2 tablespoon of sugar in there. And then I'm going to stir that up with my yeast. To get it nice and bubbly. Like so. And you can let that set for a few minutes while you wait on your sour cream and butter and sugar mixture to finish cooling down to the temperature that you want it to be at. And it won't take very long. Okay. Now then, let's see. I'm going to make a little well in the center of my flour to pour my ingredients in. All right, let's check the temperature on our mixture again. Well, it's gonna need to cool down a little bit more. So we're gonna go for about 10 minutes or so and then check it, and then we'll be back to finish putting our dough together. Okay, y'all. So it's cooled down enough. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour it in to our flour mixture. Like so. Put it all in there. We're gonna put our yeast in. And put our egg in. Start out kind of slow so you don't fling it everywhere. We're going to mix it really good together until the dough starts to form. Because if you didn't know it, king cake isn't actually a cake. King cake is actually a pastry. It originated in France and Spain in the 1800s to celebrate Mardi Gras. And the New Orleans style king cake actually takes more after the Spanish version with the softer dough. And the French version is more of a puff pastry dough for their king cakes. So now we're just going to let the stand mixer do what it needs to do to knead our dough, and we'll be back in a few minutes. All right, y'all, our dough is finished. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. It came together really well. I put saran wrap or plastic wrap over the top of the bowl. I have my oven ready to let it rise. So I'm gonna put it in my oven to let it rise. If your oven doesn't have a proof setting, that's fine. Just put it somewhere where you know it'll stay at a nice warm temperature. And I'm gonna put it in there for an hour. And then after that, we're gonna roll it out and put our filling on it. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and make my filling, and then I can keep that in the refrigerator until my dough is ready for it. So for my filling, I need 1 package of room temperature softened cream cheese. So I'm gonna pull that out. I have my bowl here with my beater mix. Nearly lost my cream cheese. Thank goodness I saved it. Okay. to put that on the blooper reel. All right. That's why I always keep towels ready whenever I'm cooking, in case of accidents. All right, so first I'm gonna cream my cream cheese up really good so that my other ingredients will mix in a little bit better. So just a little bit like that, doesn't take much. Now I'm gonna add in my sugar. So I have 1/4 cup of white sugar and 2 tablespoons of packed brown sugar. And we're gonna add in a teaspoon of cinnamon. A teaspoon of vanilla. We'll mix all that together first. Fluffy, and then we add in 1 egg, like so. I'll run this away, and we'll beat this. Now I'm going to scrape that edge of that, get all of that goodness down in there. And beat it one more time. And that is our filling. All right, so now I'm just going to cover that filling with foil, stick it in the fridge, and wait for my dough to get ready. We'll be back when we're ready to assemble. All right, y'all, our dough is done rising. So now what we want to do is roll it out on a lightly floured surface to a rectangular shape of about 20 inches by 12 inches approximately. I'm not going to be sitting here getting out a ruler or anything. And we roll it out like so. All right, that's good enough. Now, the instructions say to take like a 9 by 9 square pan when you shape your roll and to put it in there in the form of a circle, but I'm going to use this tube pan, and when I roll mine up, I'm just going to lay it around in the circle, and that way I'll be able to take it out easy because this bottom part comes out. So now that I have rolled out my dough, I'm going to take my filling. This is my cream cheese filling that I showed y'all earlier, and I'm going to put it on here like so. And then just spread it out over your dough to within about 1 inch of the edge of all 4 edges, all 4 sides, like this. And you want it to have at least 1 inch so that you'll be able to roll it up and pinch your edges together. So we just spread it like so. That's good. Okay. Now, the next step is to roll it up like you would do like a sponge cake roll. So we're going to roll it up like this. And then you want to pinch the edge like so, almost like you're making cinnamon rolls. You're going to pinch it like this. And then circle it around like this. And then take the two sides and you want to pinch them together too. If some slips out, that's okay. It'll cover once you glaze it and put your sprinkles on there for the colors. All right, so now I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in my pan like this. So now it's in the pan, and I sprayed my pan with nonstick spray. So now I'm going to cover it with plastic wrap again, and you let it rise one more time. So I'm going to cover it up with the plastic wrap and let it rise. And you can probably hear my little puppy in the background. He's going crazy in there trying to play with his sister. All right. So we got it covered like this. And now we put it back in for another 45 minutes to an hour. And let it rise again. I'm going to set it for 45 and we'll see if it's ready at 45. It should double in size. Then once it's done rising the second time, we preheat our oven to 350 degrees and bake it for 25 minutes. So we'll be back when we're ready to bake. All right, y'all. Our king cake dough has finished rising, as you can see. So now I'm going to bake it in the oven at 350 degrees for approximately 25 minutes. So I got to move my rack. Let's go down one. Like so. All right. Timer 25 minutes. Okay, so while that's baking, I'm going to go ahead and make the glaze, and then I can just set it aside, and then I'll stir it up right before I use it. So what I need is 1.5 to 2 cups of powdered sugar. So I have 2 cups here. I need 1.5 tablespoons of melted butter. So I melted my butter. And I need 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I will need 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk. So I'm going to start out with 1. And then if I need a little bit more, I'll do a little bit more. It's going to need a little bit more. So I add it slowly because I don't want to make it too runny. But you want to be able to pour it on your king cake when it's ready. So you have to just slowly add enough until you get it to a pouring consistency or a drizzling consistency. So we're going to need a little bit more milk to make it thin enough. And it doesn't matter that I use brown vanilla, because once I glaze the cake with it, I'm going to be sprinkling the different colors of my sugar glitter over the top to make my bands of gold, purple, and green. So it's going to cover it. All right. That's a pouring consistency. As you can see, as I move it around, I'll be able to drizzle that over my king cake once it's done. So I'm going to leave that just sitting out, and then I'll beat it again with the beaters right before I drizzle it, and then we'll sprinkle it, and we'll show you how it looks after that. So we'll see you soon. All right, y'all. We ended up cooking our king cake for 30 minutes in the oven at 350. So I've been letting it cool for about 20 minutes. So now I'm gonna put my glaze on that we made earlier. So I'm just gonna drizzle it over, like so. That's my little puppy. He's going nuts in there. Just ignore him. He's fine. He just wants somebody to come and play with him. All right. Now that I've drizzled it all over, now we're going to do our sprinkle. So you do purple, and then you do green, and you do gold or yellow, and repeat. Purple, green, and gold, those are the Mardi Gras colors. And there's our Mardi Gras king cake. Don't that look good? So beautiful. All right, let's give it a try. There's the center. And we're gonna give it a try. That's perfect. If you like my video making homemade Mardi Gras king cake, please give me a thumbs up, a comment down below, share my video with others, and please go back and watch my other videos. I really appreciate you guys watching so much. We'll see y'all next time in Nini's Texas Kitchen.